What's up, y'all? My name is Blak. Welcome to the Beastiary. Today we're going to be talking about, another type of Bigfoot type creature, and I want to clear up a misconception about how, all these Bigfoot, Sasquatch type creatures are supposed to be friendly, and that's what a lot of people think when they think of Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Yeti or Yowie. They think of something out of Harry and the Hendersons. I mean, you can't go up to this thing and pat it on the head and expect it to be your friend. I mean, these are intelligent creatures, and not every one of them are going to have the same personality. And we need to smarten up about this type of thing, because not every one of these Sasquatchian creatures are gonna want to be your friend. And this story is about said type of creature, and I'm talking about the Spottsville Monster out of Kentucky. And we're going to get into that, and we're going to learn you something. So I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Now, in 1975, in Spottsville, Kentucky, the Nunley family home was terrorized by mysterious 8-foot-tall creatures. Now, their nightmare was written about in newspapers and broadcast on TV shows and whatnot. But the mystery as to what was roaming the quiet western Kentucky town outside of Henderson remains to this day. The Spottsville Monster is the true story of various encounters with big, hairy, seemingly supernatural Bigfoot-like monsters and other strange phenomena in the lonely bottomlands of western Kentucky. The bulk of the work centers on the 11-month ordeal experienced there by the Nunley family in 1975. The remainder is the result of over 20 years of investigative field research into the area, and in particular the occupants of Mound Ridge Road from 1935 to present day. The story begins in that year with a devout widower and her 2 children residing in a small isolated farmhouse on Mound Ridge Road. At this time, the area is part of a very small town, but its population is dwindling fast because of a frightening monster said to dwell in the foreboding forest there. After a traumatic encounter, they leave the area, and they leave the area as well, and we jump forward to about 1975 as the Nunley family, after several years of unhappy city life, make their entrance, eager to return to the relative simplicity of country living. The Nunleys ignore the warning given to them by the current residents and waste no time moving in. Now, the Nunleys are they're somewhat troubled. They're kind of a somewhat troubled and unusual family, like every other family in the world. Red, the husband and father to the 6 young children, was and is a rough and tumble, no nonsense type of guy. He suffers from glaucoma and whatnot. The glaucoma it plays a part in the story. They are at heart simple country folk, forced to live in the city by a series of strange encounters with this unknown, and at their previous country home some 3 years earlier. The disturbing memories, forgotten in the hope of a better life, quickly resurface when their farm animals begin to disappear. Roy, he was a fearless local firefighter, an expert hunter and tracker, who lives just a short distance away from the Nunleys. While hunting in the area one day, he becomes aware of the creature's existence and sets off to warn the Nunleys, thus beginning a lasting friendship with the family. Now, as the encounters with the creature became more intense and more aggressive, And fearing that his friend's failing eyesight might, hinder his ability to guard the safety of his family, Roy takes it on himself to track and kill the creature, and thus protect the Nunleys and his own 2 children. He says he's drawn into a series of frightening encounters with the Spottsville Monster, which make clear its terrifying supernatural nature. It can appear and disappear at will, walk over freshly turned dirt without leaving any tracks, and no bullet of any caliber could harm it. Local authorities, with their own agenda concerning the creature, they forced Roy to turn over all evidence and give false statements to the media. Sound familiar? After an encounter with the monster which leaves him clinically dead, he somehow manages to survive on willpower alone and succeeds in warning his friend to take his wife and children and flee the area at once. The story ends with a particularly disturbing dream sequence where Roy, who had been the one having the dream, discovers the remains of his wife and children, savagely ripped apart by the creature, and then falls victim to it himself. He awakens with a strong feeling that the story, which is unique and disturbing on many, many levels, is not yet over. And I feel for this guy. I understand him, because that kind of experience, such a prolonged experience over a long period of time, 11-month period, man, that's enough to keep you awake for the rest of your life if that were possible. It's something that not many people are ever going to be able to understand, because they themselves have not yet experienced, or possibly never will experience, something like that. But the story on its own is enough to send shivers down your spine, especially if you can understand the emotions, or imagine the emotions that these families must have went through during this ordeal. And it's really, it's sad that the families had to go through that, but at the same time it's a very, interesting and thought-provoking story. And it makes you wonder what's really out there. It makes you wonder what we're being told, whether or not it's true or it's a lie. And if it is a lie, then why are they lying to us about it? Why are they keeping it from us? And what's the fucking deal, man? What's the deal? I can understand that, maybe they think that it would cause mass panic and hysteria, and maybe it would. But when all that subsides and all the madness is, goes back into and subsides into where it came from in the first place, and the hysteria kind of goes away, and people start wanting to know more about it and what's going on, people are bound to, go into fits of fucking madness, when their whole life is, and their whole belief structure is turned upside down. But when that all goes away, they're left wanting to understand it. People are complex creatures like that. Simple yet complex at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. But I'm going to continue my research onto these creatures, purely out of, just wanting to learn more, and fuck it, it's my hobby. I love it. But we're gonna end this episode on that note, and the next one, maybe it'll be a more interesting story. I'm Blak. I hope you learned something, or were at least entertained. And remember, knowledge is our greatest weapon. Stay armed. Take it easy.